Hello everyone, my name is Nabil and my group will be explaining regarding child abuse. Before understanding what is child abuse, we need to understand the definition of a child. Under subsection E of the Child Act 2001, it defines a child as a person which is under the age of 18 years old, and within the penal code, it stipulates that the minimum age of criminal responsibility of a child is 10 years old. So for any offenders which for child abuse, they are subjected to a maximum of $50,000 or maximum of imprisonment of 20 years, or both, depends on the degree of their cases, which basically due to child abuse lah, which includes verbal, physical, sexual, and also emotional abuse. So I'll pass on to the next presenter.
The child abuse is not just physical violence directed at a child. It is any form of maltreatment by an adult which is violence or threatening for the child. This includes neglect. When child abuse occurs in the home and the abuse is for example, the child's parents or caregivers, this is a form of domestic violence. Child abuse isn't just about black eyes. While physical abuse is shocking due to the marks it leaves, not all signs of child abuse are as obvious. Ignoring a child's needs, putting them in unsupervised, dangerous situations, exposing them to the sexual situation, or making them feel worthless or stupid are also forms of child abuse and neglect, and they can leave deep, lasting scar on kids. That's all for me.
Sexual harassment is a disturbance that can make a person uncomfortable. Sexual harassment also has various aspects, the first of which is verbal. From the verbal side, usually we will be able to see through social media. There are many people who often make obscene and rude comments about somebody's body. Then we also often hear people around us making obscene jokes. This can cause them to feel uneasy and uncomfortable about what they hear and they see. Next, in terms of physicality, there are many cases of child sexual harassment because they like to take advantage of someone's weakness, especially for girls aged 17 and under. They deliberately stand close to the victim so that they can perform immoral activities and will start holding body parts in an appropriate place. Due to this sexual harassment, it can have a bad and profound effects. Victims can experience depression and even trauma to the people around them, including their families. And it also can damage performance in school and so on. If a person is found guilty of committing sexual harassment on a minor, he will be punished with imprisonment for a period not exceeding 15 years and should also be punished with whipping of not less than 3 lashes. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
What is physical child abuse? Physical child abuse is the intentionally causing of physical injury or damage on a child. It includes the usage of physical force such as slamming, punching, kicking, shaking, or biting. It can cause bruises, wounds, fractured bones, and also noticeable injuries. Physical child abuse can leave physical and emotional scars that last a lifetime for the children. Warning signals may include unexplained injuries, frequent injuries, or injuries that contradict the explanation provided by the caregivers. Physically abused children may express fear, anxiety, anger, or withdrawal. It is critical for us to recognize the warning signs of physical child abuse and report any suspected events in order to protect the vulnerable children. Prevention efforts should concentrate on raising the awareness, supporting effective parenting practices, and also helping needy families. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Emotional abuse is the ongoing emotional maltreatment of a child. It can also call psychological abuse and can significantly damage a child's mental health and development. Emotional abuse involves bullying, deliberately trying to scare, humiliate, isolate, corrupt, or terrorize a child. Verbal abuse is a form of emotional abuse. It is not always easy to recognize a verbal abuse. Many verbally abusive behaviors, such as shouting or name-calling, have been historically been downplayed or normalized. Even if a victim of a verbal abuse is in pain, they may be told that they are overreacting, to the point they actually believe it. Verbally abusive parents may yell at, bully, or manipulate their kids to get them to behave in a certain way. Nearly all parents are guilty of yelling at their children at one point or another. While screaming and yelling may be common, when used in excess, it can be a form of abusive behavior, especially if it happens regularly. Not only can screaming be a form of intimidation, but it can also create a chaotic environment that leaves you feeling constant anxiety. That's all from me. Thank you.
Abuse can have a lasting impact on a children's life, especially can be seen in their educations. When a child experiences abuse, it can affect their ability to learn and also in school. Cognitive difficulties such as trouble focusing or remembering information can hinder their academics life and also their performance. Emotional and behavioral problems may arise, leading to anxiety, depressions, and difficulties interacting with their friends and also their teachers. Low self-esteem can make a child doubt their abilities, causing them to shy away from classroom participations. Abuse-related absenteeism and disengagement can result in missed opportunities for learning and hinder their progress. Some children may develop learning disabilities or developmental delays due to prolonged impact of abuse. This can also be known as childhood trauma. Negative coping mechanisms like substance abuse or risky behavior can further disrupt their educational performance. Usually this happens when they mingle around with bad peers. But with early identifications, intervention, and a supportive environment, we can help these children overcome the impacts of abuse and thrive in their education. If you suspect any child's abuse, reach out to the appropriate authorities and support services. Together, we can make a difference. Thank you.
Now I'm going to talk about signs of child abuse. Premature death. Exposure to childhood adversity linked to early mortality, nearly 500,000 annual US deaths. The findings of a new study suggest that childhood adversity is a major contributor to early and preventable causes of mortality and a powerful determinant of a long-term physical and mental health. For physical disabilities and learning disabilities, physical disabilities present a number of challenges to growing young people. These disabilities can interfere with their ability to get an education, to interact effectively with peers, and to find a way to make a living and become independent of parents, relatives, or group home arrangements. For substances abuse, substances using disorder is a mental health condition in which kids or teenagers use drugs or alcohol in unhealthy ways. This can include addiction, using substances in ways that interfere with a normal life. Lastly, health problems. Child maltreatment has often several short and long-term physical, sexual, and mental health consequences. This includes injuries, including head injuries and several disability, in particular in young children, post-traumatic stress and anxiety, depression, and sexually transmitted infections, including HIV. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Samira, and I would like to explain my part in things that we can do in prevent the child abuse. We have to know what is the child abuse. Okay. Child abuse is physical and sexual abuse. It can be physical and sexual abuse, and it clearly constitutes maltreatment, and so does neglect. It is important for us to learn about the type of child abuse, including the signs and symptoms and the impact that it will give to each children. Therefore, understanding in this issue will enable us as adults to understand more and discuss this more effectively with others. Secondly, spreading awareness. Means like we have to share information, utilize all the social media platform, blogs, or other channels to share informative articles, posters, statistics, and resources about the child abuse. We can also raise awareness by posting relevant content or supporting organizations dedicated to the child protection. Other than that, we can also organize event or campaign that consider hosting event, workshop, or webinars in your community to educate people about the child abuse prevention, recognizing, as I mentioned, recognizing sign of abuse, promoting healthy parenting practice, and we can collaborate with local organizations such as school, university, child welfare agency, and others.
The third point to overcome child abuse is to establish legal protections. Here, the government is the most crucial stakeholder in preventing child abuse. By taking a comprehensive approach, they can make significant strides in preventing child abuse and ensuring the safety of children within their jurisdictions through various measures. The government can review and amend existing laws related to child protection to ensure they are comprehensive and effective, which include provisions for prevention, intervention, and support for victims. They should enact laws that clearly define child abuse as a criminal offense by reviewing sentencing guidelines and considering harsher penalties for such offenses. This can act as a deterrent and send a strong message that child abuse will not be tolerated within society. Governments can also implement legislation that requires mandatory reporting regarding suspected cases of child abuse to the appropriate authorities. Failure to do so can result in legal consequences. They can also provide resources or fundings dedicated to child protection agencies or support services, as these agencies are responsible for investigating reports of abuse and providing support to those in need. The fourth point is to make your home violence-free. Encourage parents to discipline thoughtfully, teach children their rights, foster open communication, lead by example, and provide emotional competence. By nurturing happy family dynamics, it allows for effective problem solving, encourages collaboration, strengthens the bonds, ensures emotional stability, all of which will prevent child abuse, thus providing children a healthy foundation for them to grow and thrive. So that's all from me.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Hazifatur Rahman bin Muhammad Sanusi, and my metric number is 100120200900349, and I'm from BPH student. My point is one of the ways to prevent the child abuses, especially in Malaysia. So for my point is documenting or reporting the child abuse cases to the authorities. So here is why. Firstly, we can protect the child. Reporting abuse cases to the appropriate authorities, such as child protective services like Suka Society or law enforcement, to ensure that the child is removed from immediate danger and placed in a safer environment. This intervention helps protect the child from further harm. The next one is the authorities can identifying patterns and early intervention. Documenting abuse cases contribute to identifying patterns or recurring behaviors that can help professionals and authorities recognize potential risks to other children. Early intervention and prevention strategy can be then implemented to protect vulnerable children. So the last reason is we can raise the awareness and community response. Publicly, communicating abuse cases can raise awareness in communities and prompt individuals to be more vigilant about potential signs of abuse. It encourages community members to report suspicious and fosters a collective responsibility to prevent child abuse. However, it is important to note that reporting or documenting abuse cases is just one component of a comprehensive approach to prevent child abuse. It should be coupled with prevention like education, support services for families, and community engagement to address the underlying factors contributing to abuse and promote long-term prevention efforts. So before that, the organization that can help in the child abuse like Suka Community, ECPA organization, and Talian Kasih. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Moving on to the cases, we can see that in 2021 statistics, there are more than 6,000 cases of child abuse has been recorded in Malaysia alone. This can be projected into the cases reported in that year, which I'll be taking two of the numerous cases. So basically, police has arrested a woman suspected to abuse her own stepdaughter due to her burn marks found in the girl's body. And then another case that where police not arrested, investigate a case with the help of two individuals due to a case reported where a child has been abused in a nursery care in a hospital in Selangor. And then moving on to the most recent case where a couple has been arrested due to alleged torturing of a girl under their own care, which is only 4 years old. And the other two cases are regarding a pedophile, which is a sexual abuse, and also a physical abuse from Pahang towards orphanage. To end the presentation, sexual abuse is more prominent in the child abuse cases, but not to take lightly on other types of child abuse. To take a quote from a book called A Child Called It from Dave Balzer: childhood should be carefree, playing in the sun, not living a nightmare in the darkness of the soul. So this sparks the question: When can we stop this? How should we reduce the numbers? So that's all from me and my team members. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye and have a great day.